Our guest today is Mr. Aubrey Norton. Mr. Norton is the leader of opposition in Guyana of the PNCR, APNU. And welcome. It's nice to talk to you again, Mr. Norton.
Thanks for having me and nice speaking with you again and your audience.
Well, it's been some time. How are things, in your opinion, going in Guyana? Recently, with the wealth of oil and so on discovered in the neighborhood of the island, in the waters of the shore of Guyana and so forth. How are things going in general?
I would say that yes, we have had the blessings from nature, and so we have oil and gas, and that oil and gas would open opportunities for Guyana. Unfortunately, what is happening is that the resources that are emerging from oil and gas, they are going to what we call basically the PPP elite, their families, their friends, and their favorites.
Right,
And
right,
particularly, a lot of the Guyanese people still continue to be in poverty. I think the World Bank recently said it's 40% plus. I think UNICEF put it at 40% plus, and it's unfortunate that you can be considered rich in terms of income per capita,
right,
but then the resources aren't meeting the people of Guyana, and that is the critical problem. In fact, we have just basically forced the government to do some cash grants. Of course, we believe it is inadequate and we'll continue to pressure them. And we
right,
have promised the people that in coming to government, we will have a structured approach to cash grants in a way that will allow people to predict what they will have and be able to use it as collateral, etc., for their development. So we will take a different approach as it relates to the resources from oil and gas meeting the people of Guyana.
can you describe to us cash grants? Is it monies the government pay out, or what?
Yes. Yes. There is from the oil wealth, we have been calling for a proper transfer of resources to the people of Guyana. The government first rejected it and said all kinds of nonsense. And then I think last Thursday, or week before the last Thursday, the president came to parliament and announced that he was giving $200,000 per household. Immediately, I said to them that they need to define household because they don't do anything based on the statistics in the society.
Right,
So the last time they had cash transfer during COVID, they did it very arbitrary and in a discriminatory fashion.
right,
And so we have said to them, you need to define household. The president then came back and said he's going to give to every individual who's 18 years and above.
right,
Now, when we say cash transfer in Ghana, there is a lot of money that is circulating. And what the government has done is to fuel its corruption. It has placed $666 billion into infrastructure while it lacks the capacity to implement it. And at the same time, when whatever little they implement is
right.
very sloppy work. And so we have said to them, which they seem to now accept, that we need to do some reallocation of resources so that more resources will go to the people of Ghana. Of course, the reallocation is not adequate. We are
Right.
saying that we in government would be able to ensure that, say, once monthly, people get, say, like $150,000 a month
Mhm.
as a cash transfer, but it must be done in a predictable way and it must be able to be used for collateral to the bank, etc., which will allow people to access resources to develop. For us, the focus should be on improving the quality of life of the people of Ghana, and that is what is missing.
Right, 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 right. Well, it's a challenge indeed. Now, the situation with regard elections, um, do you all still have the problem of a bad election list? Or
Yes, we do. In fact, it is getting worse because at present, the list is 718,000 out of a population of 780,000 people, which means well over 90% or just around 90% of the population is
Yeah.
on the voting list. And at the same time, the government is claiming that there are 250,000 children. If there are 250,000 children under 18 years of age, then the voters list should not exceed 600,000, but is at
Exactly.
present at 718,000. And that is why we have been calling for a clean voters list and for the implementation of biometrics to remove the kind of vote impersonation that occurred in PPP strongholds in the 2020 elections.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this, so it seems like it's a rough terrain that you have to undergo. Um,
Well, in this world of development, nothing comes easy. In fact, the minute it comes too easy, one has to check to see why. We continue to struggle assiduously to get a clean voters list on biometrics. We
yeah.
are still optimistic that it will come. We have engaged the international community to be able to try and speak some sense into the government's head. And so
Yeah.
we continue to be optimistic and we'll work to ensure that there's a clean voters list.
Right. 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 Um, Now, in terms of you all just celebrated an anniversary, right, of the party recently.
Yes, in
How
nine,
how how did that go?
well, we did not have a big celebration. We put out a statement. One of the reasons is now the party would have celebrated um, the 5th of October. In 1957, in October,
Yeah.
the PPP Burner might changed its name to the PNC. And so that celebration is in commemoration of the changing of the name to the PNC.
Right.
However, the party was started on the 13th of February 1955 after the conference at which the PPP split into the PPP Jaganite and the PPP Burnhamite. And
Yeah.
because next year, February, will be the 70th anniversary, we have foregone the October anniversary celebration for the 70-year celebration, which will occur in February next year.
Right. 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 So, what's the vision? I mean, what's the vision of the party? Um, you feel that you can, with the things that you're, the steps that you're taking, that you can regain the leadership of the country.
We are optimistic that we are going to regain government. We have been outlining what we call the people-centered development strategy, meaning in essence that we intend to put the interests of the people of Ghana first. And while we will intend to focus on the development of the economy and to put significant resources into the development of the non-oil sector
Mhm.
so that one does not continue to be dependent on oil and gas. Let us recall that oil and gas is not an infinite resource, it will finish. And therefore, one has to prepare for post oil. And we will make that a cardinal element of our development plan. We
Right.
also believe that the government is not doing enough in agriculture and agri-processing. In this regard, we have indicated to the people of Ghana that we are going to develop agriculture in all 10 regions, making each region uh, self-sustainable at the agricultural level. And that is one we have to do. Only recently, Bank of Ghana report has shown that our import food bill is increasing at a rapid rate. We
Right.
intend to change that and to ensure that there is a high level of production in Guyana, which will do a number of things. One, create employment, but more importantly, it will help to reduce the cost of living. In our people-centered development strategy, we have made it clear that we will put the people of Ghana first. We will use oil resources to ensure that they can access quality water, electricity, health, and that we intend to give all Guyanese workers a livable wage. We believe that at this stage it can increase. We need to give at least a 35% increase in wages and salaries so that the Guyanese worker can live comfortably. So a livable wage will be part of our plans.
Yes. Yeah.
There are many other areas, housing. We intend to do what we call rent to own, where because a lot of Guyanese don't have the capacity to go to a bank and get a mortgage, our intention is to build houses rent them to Guyanese, and as the Guyanese pay their rent, there's a contract, and at the end of the rent covering the cost of the building, the property will become theirs. And so
Right.
that is one of the things we intend to implement, the rent to own. We intend to ensure that health facilities are developed and that Guyanese can get quality health care. A lot of Guyanese in the diaspora, in my discussions with them, would like to come home, but
Right.
a lot of them, they want to see quality health before they can come. And so apart from Guyanese at home who are
Right.
entitled to and should have it, we also have got to cater for a lot of the Guyanese in the diaspora
Right.
who migrated to get a better life and would have achieved that life, but now wants to retire in the confines of the tropics here in Guyana. And
Right.
so we want to take actions that will make it available to them. So our aim really is to ensure that we develop an economy that serves the people of Ghana and ensure that all the people of Ghana can improve their life and live a quality life amidst the oil resources.
Right. 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 And your relationships with the CARICOM countries are going fine. You know, no problems, and things are relatable and so forth.
Well, I wouldn't say it's going fine. I would say we have always had good relations with CARICOM, but at least one state in CARICOM um, leader seems to be very close to the president of Venezuela and recently said that our interest is best served by Maduro in power, which we don't agree with.
Right.
And while generally there are good relations with CARICOM, we need to do a lot more work to ensure that we not only have good relations, but extremely strong relations. Remember, critical to us is the Ghana-Venezuela territorial controversy, and
Yes.
they've Caribbean solidarity and support to ensure we can fight off Venezuela. And therefore, any one person leading the Caribbean that um, is questioning or weakening that solidarity among Caribbean people is something for us to consider and work on. So
Right.
we will work assiduously to ensure all Caribbean nations are in support of us. We are in support of them, and we can move together because we do believe regional integration is critical to the development of the people of the Caribbean. And the larger, the more the integration is, the largest the economy of the Caribbean, and that can allow us some economies of scale, which we can utilize and redound to the benefit of not only Guyana, but all the people in the Caribbean.
Right. 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 And that country, would it be happen to be Trinidad?
No, St. Vincent,
St.
the
Vincent.
Prime Minister
Oh
of St.
yes, yes,
Vincent.
St. Vincent the Grenadines. Yeah,
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 he
yeah,
has been he has been very I don't have diplomatic language to describe it, so I don't want to. But I would say that his position has been one that isn't welcomed by most Guyanese because to tell us that our interest is best served in Venezuela, when Venezuela is an adversary, an aggressor against her, I think it's carried his personal friendship with Maduro too far into our relations.
right, right, right. I hear you. I hear you. Right, right. Well, so what's for the future? I mean, what's happening? What's for the future?
Well,
Anything?
the future of Guyana looks bright if it gets the right government. We're working to ensure we are the government, and that is the right government. As it stands with the present government, the focus seems to be purely on making money for themselves and not focusing on the development of the interests of the people of Guyana. When one thinks about it, that one friend of a senior PPP person, the vice president,
Yeah,
can get $7 billion in contracts for the provision of pharmaceuticals,
yeah,
then you understand the problems we have.
yeah.
And then we also have a situation where the Ghana police forces has been deprofessionalized and been politicized. In fact, I'm on record of saying that before we talk anything about appointing a police commissioner, there needs to be a thorough investigation into the leadership of the Ghana police force. While all of them are not corrupt, the evidence is suggesting that a large amount of them are corrupt.
Right,
And
right,
if they are corrupt, then the law enforcement system is in question. And
right,
so we have stood our ground that there shouldn't be any promotion, there should be an investigation at this stage. and seek to rid the police force of those persons who are clearly disposed to and are allegedly involved in corruption to be rid of the police force to rid itself of them, because we cannot expect proper law enforcement when those who are responsible for the law are themselves lawless.
Right, 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 right. I hear you. I understand. Well, Mr. Norton, any special message you like to extend to the people, the Guyanese people of the diaspora?
I would say to the Guyanese people in the diaspora, we are happy for your support. In this modern technological world, with a government under us, you can look forward to us engaging you to access the expertise you have in the diaspora. The world is no longer structured in a way that you have to come to Guyana to help. There are many professionals who can help us by engagement through technology. And I must say that we are perpetuously disposed to engaging them and ensuring that they can serve Guyana either from where they are or here in Guyana. And we do believe that such engagement will redound to the benefit of the people of Guyana.
Thank you very much. My guest has been Mr. Aubrey Norton, leader of the opposition of Guyana and the president of the PNCR APNU party. This is Von Martin. Caribbeana continues.